Good evening. We'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the regular public meeting of the North Brunswick Township Board of Education for Wednesday, April 26th, 2023. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Ali.
Here. Here.
Mr. Brockman.
Here.
Mr. Carter.
Here.
Ms. James.
Present.
Ms. Keefe.
Here.
Mr. Liguori.
Here.
Dr. Patel.
Here.
Ms. Toth.
Here.
And Mr. Wen.
Here.
We have a full quorum today.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, the public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location, was distributed by 3 p.m. on Sunday, January 29th, 2023 in the following manner. Posted on the bulletin board reserved for announcements in the board office, 25 Linwood Place, North Brunswick, New Jersey. Mailed to the Home News Tribune, the Sentinel, and the Clerk of the Township of North Brunswick, and delivered to the 9 duly elected board members. We do have one presentation this evening, but first I want to turn it over to Mrs. Chiroka. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Liguori. Mr. President and board members, before we begin our presentations, I would like to ask that we take a moment of silence to acknowledge the untimely passing of MBTHS student Hakeem Davis Jr., who passed away on April 16th. Services were held this afternoon, and we would like to take a moment to send our best wishes and thoughts to Hakeem's family, his friends, teachers and administrators, to Hakeem's family from his friends, teachers, and administrators in the district. If you could please all bow your heads for a moment of silence. Thank you. Mr. President, now I will begin my presentation of the final budget.
Thank you.
As you know, last month I made a long presentation along with Mrs. Kita and Mrs. Hawk, giving all the details of the 23-24 budget presentation. This is a much more streamlined version because there are no changes from the presentation that I made the other day. You can see, board members, on page 2 of your agenda the details of the budget. I'd like to remind you that very important and very much as the main focus of our budget presentations is our budgetary balance between fiscal responsibility and educational integrity, and that we work very hard to find that balance to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our taxpayers, our parents, our students, in everything that we do and present in our budget. So you will recall that there were 3 main parts to the 23-24 proposed budget. The general fund, which is made up of current general expense plus capital outlay plus charter school expenses, which is $139,147,907. The second part of that is grants and entitlements from state and federal sources, and that is $9,246,226. And then the debt service fund, which is the board share of debt service, basically our mortgage, what we pay on our debt. For instance, when we did upgrades to our schools through different referendums, revenue, debt service revenue, and then the local tax levy. So that is $9,336,541. The tax levy impact on our community. We are allowed by state law to take up our budget by a full 2%. However, with our budgetary balance, we chose to do a less than 2% increase for a proposed increase of 1.95%. And that impact to the taxpayer would be an increase of approximately 5.5 cents per $100 of assessed tax value, which would be approximately $87.90 per year for the average assessed home. We did say last month that there would be budget variables that could change the budget that we presented last month. We did get approval from the county and Department of Education for our budget that was presented. We do not have any of these other factors that have changed anything. Therefore, everything at this point is the same budget. So this is the number that you will be voting on, board members, $157,730,674 for your approval. This is the same sheet that you are looking at currently. And again, we remember that our investment in knowledge gives the best returns. Any questions?
So any questions from the board? We've seen a much deeper dive of these same exact numbers. Thankfully, nothing has changed since we last saw them. So if there are no further questions, we are obliged to hold a public session on this final budget presentation. So with that, if anyone from the public wishes to comment on this final budget, now is your time to approach the podium. You'll need to sign in, state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes which to speak. There will be another session later in the meeting to comment on agenda items and then any item as well. Specifically for the budget. Seeing none, would someone please move to close this portion of the public meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The public session on the budget is closed.
Ms. James, would you please take item 7, and you don't need to read the whole 2 pages.
Sure.
Thanks.
I move to authorize the adoption of the fiscal year 23-24 school district budget as submitted to and approved by the New Jersey Department of Education. The budget is listed on page 2 with the further language for the resolution following on page 3.
Thank you.
Second.
Any further discussion? We'll need a roll call. Thank you.
Yes. Mr. Ali?
Yes.
Mr. Brockman?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Legori?
Yes.
Dr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
And Mr. Wen.
Yes.
The budget is accepted and approved.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We did a bunch of thank yous last time we did this, but thank you again to the administrative team, the business office, for your months of diligence on this. We really appreciate it. Mr. Brockman, would you please take item number 8 on tonight's agenda?
Yes, Mr. President. I make a motion to approve the following board meeting minutes. Regular public meeting, March 29th, 2023. Executive minutes, March 29th, 2023. And the conference meeting minutes, April 5th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The meeting minutes are accepted.
Any communications? I do want to mention one thing under communications. Since we last met in public, a former board member has passed. And it's someone who was near and dear to my heart, who was a board member in North Brunswick for almost 20 years. Her name was Betty Schneider. For those of you who knew Betty, she was a very long-time North Brunswick resident. She served as a board member for 20 years, from 1980 to 2000. And when her and her husband, Jim, retired, they moved to Monroe. And they settled in Monroe, and if you can believe it, later on in life, Betty became a councilwoman in Monroe and served right up until the time when she passed away. Betty will always hold a spot in my heart, board members, because when I got my diploma from MBTHS, as you can all appreciate, she moved whoever was giving the diplomas out at that point in time so that she can give me my diploma. She was a dear friend of the family, and she was a lifelong public servant, and I just wanted to announce she will be missed. And we thank her for her years of service to this board over her lifetime.
Thank you, Mr. Legori.
Any old business or new business prior to your administrative report?
No old or new business.
Administrative report, please.
Thank you. Good evening to all of our families, guests, and viewers here tonight. I hope everyone had a safe and relaxing spring break. It is hard to believe that we are now heading into that home stretch of the school year. These few weeks of May and June go very quickly, and are filled with many, many special events from proms to dances, concerts, field days, and end-of-the-year celebrations and award ceremonies. The district's spring concerts will be held at the high school auditorium at 7 p.m. on the following dates: May 1st, Judd School; May 18th, the MBTHS Choir and Orchestra; May 23rd, MBTHS Band; May 25th, Linwood School; June 1st, John Adams; June 5th, Livingston Park; and June 9th, Parsons. The NBTMS Middle School concerts will be held at the middle school on May 16th for the band concert and May 22nd for chorus and orchestra. Our district art show, which we have held for several years now, will be also held at MBTMS on May 11th at 5:30 p.m. On May 9th, there will be a virtual discussion on teen suicide prevention and mental health awareness supported by Empower Somerset. We know that our students are still struggling with mental health post-pandemic, and this is a very important and vital conversation. This presentation is recommended for both youth in middle school and high school, along with their parents and/or guardians. Please check our website for a link to register for this important event. And before I wrap up, Mr. President, I would like to just take a moment to introduce someone who will be on the agenda this evening. Our long-standing music supervisor, Mr. Jamie Egan, will be retiring as of June 30th, which we'll be celebrating that retirement later on this year. But we are very proud to say that we are able to appoint, with your approval this evening, a homegrown supervisor to step into his place for next school year. So I just wanted to invite Ms. Danielle Noodleman up to the podium for a moment to make sure you guys get to know her, and if she wants to say a few words.
Jamie was my mentor, so I will always talk. I'm an alumni of North Brunswick. I've taught children of people who are standing here in front of me right now. I've been teaching in North Brunswick for 11 years, and I've been a part of the music program in North Brunswick since 1998, when I played Wooly Bully with the John Adams Band. It was hip, super hip, great job by Mr. Mitchell programming that. But I learned a lot from Jamie, and I'm super excited to take on this role and really just hit the ground running. I've already been in meetings and already been starting to get started on my job for next year, so I'm incredibly excited, and thank you so much for the opportunity and for having me here tonight, and I'm really looking forward to working with you all, so thank you all so much.
Thank you, Mr. Noodleman. And that is it for my report this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Student report. Mr. SGO President Matt Levitt, the young man who I coached in rec soccer many moons ago. Why don't you tell us all about your recent college decision? If everyone can't see it, the millions of viewers in television land from your sweatshirt, why don't you tell everyone what you've decided for next year?
Next year I'll be going to the George Washington University in D.C. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Nice job.
And thank you very much for the introduction, President Liguori. As you can see, I'm without my partner today, so please bear with me. We have quite a few topics, or quite a few events that went on this past month that I would like to share with the board and all the attendees. First, on March 31st, the Painted Word Literary Magazine held a successful coffee house event to showcase the unique talents of NBTHS students. Second, the Alchemist Theater Company performed 4 amazing shows of the musical Mean Girls. I went to the one on Saturday. It was very emotional. I loved it. I cried a little. It was amazing. Third, the SGO held their elections for SGO officer and class officer for the 23-24 school year, and those officers will meet at the end of May to plan events for next year. This week is our Spring Pep Week. Students will participate in theme days such as College Day, Soccer Moms versus Barbecue Dads, White Lie Wednesday, Class Color Day, and of course on Friday we have Blue and Gold Day. On Friday we will have our pep rally where we will honor our spring athletes, and classes will compete for the Spirit Cup, which the seniors currently hold, obviously. Fifth, the MBTHS Key Club completed a service activity where they rolled utensils to be used at Elijah's Promise during their meal service. Sixth, the Environmental Club set up an amazing Earth Day display in the MBTHS Commons this month. And lastly, junior prom tickets are currently on sale after school, and senior prom tickets will go on sale beginning May 1st. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Committee reports. Why don't we start with business ops? Ms. James.
Sure, Mr. Liguori. The Business Operations Committee met on Wednesday, April 19th. We discussed operations, facilities, transportation, finance, proposed policies up for first and second reading. Of course, the final budget being on the agenda for approval tonight on page 8, as well as a new job description for the supervisor of maintenance that's identified on page 8. Sorry, the budget is on page 2. The supervisor position job description is on page 8. We discussed our ESIP energy savings program that is near concluded, and we're expecting a last incentive to be received. At the high school, solar work has been complete. The roof work is also complete pending certification, which may or may not have been done prior to this meeting. The security booth at the high school is undergoing some final touches and some minor fixes, but it looks like it was meant to be there. It fits in very well, and we're pleased that this adds an additional layer of security for the high school. As to the HVAC units that we've been discussing for the past few months, we are awaiting some supplies for the recommissioning work to be done on some HVAC units. The science labs at the high school are also underway with furniture and color selections being made. There will be some more meetings scheduled to make sure that we're staying on top of plan completion, that there is a plan for execution when teachers are moving out, and making sure that all details are complete with our goal in mind of having that done at the top of the school year. At Linwood, the HVAC unit for the kitchen areas is also complete. We would be opening bids for the roofs and will award that contract upon the close of that process. At the elementary schools, we are awaiting on LP, which has one remaining item, and then all will be done for that HVAC work. That would wrap up JA, Parsons, Judd, and LP with HVAC work, which is a wonderful improvement to the school district. Last month, we reported about the opening for the application of the ROD grant, which is the regular operating district grant, that could alleviate some financial burden for the district by helping to pay some percentage of those costs if we are approved. The application for 6 of our 7 schools was submitted on April 10th, and we do hope to be awarded for all 6. For transportation, the contracts that will be awarded from those bid openings are reflected on tonight's agenda on pages 19 through 22. The committee discussed our shared service agreement with our Class 3 officers. That is reflected on page 16 of our agenda. We do have another bid opening for our food service provider. The contract would be awarded in an upcoming meeting as that process gets underway. This is just a reminder to parents, families, please do complete the free and reduced lunch application. Lunch is not free. That might be a misconception. If your student is incurring debt because of those lunch fees, they might be eligible for free or reduced lunch so long as they fill out that application. Applications are available both online and in paper format in the main office. If you have any questions, please do reach out to the appropriate persons to access that application. Lastly, following our budget process, which is an ongoing process throughout the school year, our final budget, again, is on the agenda for approval. Superintendent Shiroga did present on that. That is on page 2 of the agenda. And finally, the policies that were reviewed for second reading are listed on page 17, dealing with executive authority, student reps for the Board of Education, what constitutes a quorum, the evaluation for the superintendent, as well as the policies that are listed on 17 and 18, board member training, remote meetings, reimbursement for federal grants, federal awards and funds, and the contracts for goods or services. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Lots of policy language tweaks this month in our committee meetings, so thank you for that. Human Resources, Mr. Wen.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Human Resources Community Relations Committee met on Wednesday, April 19th as well, to discuss various personnel and community topics. For those on tonight's agenda who are either resigning or retiring, the board wants to thank them for their service and wishes them well. As of last Wednesday, there were 20 certificated and support staff openings in the district, which also include ongoing substitute staff vacancies, as well as ones for next year. Openings have been posted on our website and on social media. Our administrative team has been attending and plan to attend a number of upcoming virtual job fairs as they continue to recruit staff. The team is also looking to create additional marketing tools to increase the visibility of our job openings. There are several new hires on the agenda for both certificated and support staff, and we welcome them all to the district. We discussed any upcoming leaves of absences and how those positions are being filled. We also discussed the appointment of district staff for the next school year, as well as some updated and abolished policies. And Mrs. Kita provided us an update regarding the New Jersey Sky Climate Survey. Staff have already received the results of the survey, and Mrs. Kita is planning to share the district results to the board and other stakeholders in coming months.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Liguori, I do want to make one correction. I mentioned that Ms. Noodlewoman was on tonight's agenda. She was actually approved on 4-5, so she just came this evening. So if you're looking on the agenda, she is not on there.
Education Committee, Dr. Patel.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Liguori. Good evening, everyone. The Education Committee met on Wednesday, April 19, 2023. We discussed a variety of accesses and grants. The access for ELLs has concluded for testing. The dynamic learning maps, which is a one-to-one testing for special education, began this week. And NJSLA will commence the week of May 8th. The ESSER 3 performance report has been submitted to the state, which indicates how we have used the funding so far. Curriculum for AP Psychology and Comparative Religions at the high school level has been assessed and updated. The Torrance assessment will be administered to all second graders in May. On May 21st at the high school, NBT Science Symposium will have their event, and it is a community event, so we hope to see you there. June 1st, a kindergarten overview for parents will be held at the new middle school. And we also had a first reading of several policies that are listed on the agenda. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Mr. Carter, you want to move on item number 11 for us?
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the administrative, student, and committee reports.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All the reports are accepted.
Okay, great. This is the point in the agenda where we'll review the agenda. Just as a point of order, everyone has received this in email form earlier in the week. So this is a perfunctory review for us, but we'll do it anyway, starting with page 4, where we're currently sitting right now. Page 5. Any questions, just please bring them up now. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. And page 11. Page 12. And page 13. Page 14. Page 15. Page 16. Page 17. Page 18. Page 19. Page 20. 21. Page 22. Page 23. And page 24. Any questions from the board on tonight's agenda? If not, let's dial it back to page 4. We're up to item 13. We're going to open it up to the public once again. This public session pertains to agenda items only. So if anyone from the public has any question on tonight's agenda, now is your chance to ask questions. You can approach, sign in, state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
I'm stuck right here in my talk.
Ms. Hales, we need you to speak in the microphone, so.
Sorry.
Yeah.
In the back, I couldn't find the administrative's salaries. Is there a way I can get a copy of that?
Which handout is that?
Attachment 13. I thought it was okay.
Can I send it to you, Rona? Yeah, it should have been back there.
That would be a clarification.
Attachment 13.
Yeah.
I'll double check.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you check? Not, yep.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice to
you.
see you, Rona.
Nice to see you too. You need to be president of soccer, that's what I've heard.
Duly noted.
Do we get to vote on that here?
Denied. Don't make me use the gavel. Any other questions on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, would someone please move to close this public portion of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The public session on the agenda items is closed.
Thank you. Dr. Patel, would you please move on consent agenda item 15?
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to approve the following consent agenda items: personnel 1 and 2, curriculum 1 and 2, miscellaneous, finance items 1 to 3, policy and transportation 1 and 2.
Second.
Any further discussion? That'll take us all the way to page 23 when we're done. Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Ali?
Yes.
Mr. Brockman?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes to all consent agenda item motions with the exception of personnel item 2F, attachment 18, teachers, for which I abstain.
Thank you. Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Legori?
Yes.
Dr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
And Dr. Wen? Or Mr. Wen, sorry.
Yes.
I just promoted you, sorry.
Wow, congrats.
All the motions have been accepted and approved.
Thank you. For those following along, we are on page 23. Item 16, our third public session. This is a public session on any matter. So anyone who has questions on anything, now is your chance to approach the podium. You'll need to sign in. You'll need to state your name for the public, and you also will have 3 minutes which to speak.
Is this on?
Kirk, you have to sign in.
Kirk Taramokia.
Now it's on.
My name is Kirk Taramokia. I am a resident of North Brunswick. I'm also a state official, state director for the United States Specialty Sports Association. I personally run baseball, softball, junior golf, pretty much every kind of youth tournament there is. I'm at the meeting here because I'm interested in renting the school facilities, baseball and softball facilities, and on the weekends during the summer when they're kind of not in use. I just don't know the process for North Brunswick, and I'd like to, get the ball rolling. I don't
No,
know.
we probably could have saved you a trip to a Board of Ed meeting because that doesn't really go through this board. There's probably several levels before it gets to us.
Okay.
You want to?
Sure. So on our website, there is a place about renting our facilities, but you will see there that what we did was put a pause on renting to outside organizations that were outside of the township organizations, as we kind of reviewed the policy post-pandemic and with staffing shortages. That is something our Business Operations Committee is actually working on over this next few months. So my recommendation would be to reach out to the person there, but we can also give you a call if you want to leave you're leaving your information there. With Ms. Hawk, we can, talk to you a little bit more about what you're looking for. We don't, even in that policy, actually, as it exists, we don't rent our outside, where this was more for internal facilities. We don't really rent our
We don't,
fields.
right.
So that may be something that we have to look at with the committee, with the board committee in more depth. But absolutely, we'd love to learn more about your organization, what kind of sports you run, and what you're looking for. Okay, all right. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Can you put your phone number or your email on that? That would be great. That way I can get hold of you tomorrow. Please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
for coming.
Public session on any matter. Just please sign in and state your name. Thank you.
Good evening, Sheriff members. My name is Isha Shah. I'm here to introduce myself and our school to the district and the board members. I'm the owner of Kids Are Kids Learning Academy. Why I'm here, why I'm into childcare, and what's my vision for our school. I have 15 years of childcare background, including working with preschoolers and elementary students, including general ed and special education. As an owner on site every day, I bring in my knowledge and expertise from my past education experience and support my staff for a better working environment. My vision for our school is accessibility for a better education, better facility, and limitless love and care. Our school philosophy is hug first, then teach. Our door is open for all the children who need a place to learn, grow, and excel. Our teachers go above and beyond for our students and meet their needs to the best of their ability, including students who need support concerning speech, occupational therapy, behavior support, and so on. Our teachers are our greatest pride. They come with passion, compassion for young learners, empathy, creativity, and most importantly, positivity. I'm at Kids Are Kids every day, not because I'm required to, but because I want to take advantage of the opportunity to celebrate our students' achievements every day. I want to extend my interest in partnering with the state to offer the same opportunity and the same learning environment to all the students. As Ms. Helen Keller said, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Arpan Shah, and I'm also a co-owner of Kids Are Kids Learning Academy of North Brunswick. So thank you for giving this opportunity, and I would like to talk a little bit more and expand on what my wife just mentioned. So I'm Arpan Shah. I'm a proud husband and also a father to a 9-year-old. I work at Kids Are Kids, and I support back office activities such as payroll, tuition collection, etc. But most importantly, I stand there when I'm in the school, greeting families and kids, morning and evening. That's the most important part of my job. The reason I'm here is to ask how we can partner up with public offices like yours to offer state-funded pre-K as well as kindergarten. I want to talk briefly about my background, our facility, and finally wrap up with what we've done in order to get there. First, I worked full-time at Citibank in New York as a director in Rec Capital. In addition to that, I support my wife, as I mentioned to you earlier. Our facility, which is located on the intersection of 130 and 1, has 15,000 square feet with one of the biggest playground, 35,000 square feet, which is all gated. We are part of a big campus which has 100 acres. In addition to that, we employ 30 plus full and part-time teachers in our district. Additionally, our school is the only school which has an on-site certified chef who prepares meals and provide it to all the kids who attend the school. In addition, I have enrichment programs, a baseball field on property where folks can easily go to. And we have a STEAM lab and other enrichment programs such as music and moment. All of these are given, as I said, to all kids without any additional cost. We are part of a franchisee which has 170 locations in the US, and we serve 45,000 kids every day. In addition to that, our curriculum, our teachers, our training are facilitated by PhDs in different areas, and that's what we have to offer. Lastly, as my wife just said, education is right for all kids. We truly believe in it. And here's what we've done to get there. We started to partner with NJ Community Childcare Service Offering, where we partner with them and we offer their services to kids. 50% of my school has kids who are sending us because we started accepting it. We are also adopting Governor Murphy and the State Senator Lewis's vision, which is let's expand the childcare to infants and toddlers. In order to do that, I expanded my school to 2 additional classes. I had 5, I added 2 more. Lastly, as I mentioned, we would like to partner with Board of Education, public-private partnership, in order to offer and allocate and work with the Board of Education to get the state-sponsored pre-K and kindergarten. Our facility, our background, our curriculum is well equipped to support all of this. And lastly, I would end with saying, I'm here to pledge that I can allocate 4 classrooms, 1,000 square feet each, in order for this expansion. And I would like to work with you so that we could achieve this. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shaw. Mrs. Shaw, thank you for coming. And I've been to your facility before you owned it, but it's a beautiful facility. And I know that the play area is actually quite nice. It's very, very nice. Top of the line. I know our Student Services Director, Mr. Harry, and Principal and Supervisor of the Early Childhood Center have come and visited you. And, you know, you and some other preschools in town are very anxious to be part of our expansion. And as a district, we are doing that expansion in the best way that we can. You know, when we talk about that balance with our educational program, we also have to think about extra costs on us, and part of that is transportation. And when we expand, we have to look, because we have to pay transportation out of our local budget. So those are factors that play into our expansion. And as much as we would love to say we'd like to open up to all preschool communities in town that can handle our facilities, we have to do it in a measured way. So we are working towards expanding. We did a great deal of expansion over the last few years internally. And so we're trying to do it in a measured way so we can handle the capacity and make sure that we're supporting that in the best way we know possible. But thank you for being there for our preschool kids and our kindergarten age kids. I know that's a passion, being there for those young kids. And we look forward to continuing the conversation with you in the late summer, early fall, as we begin to make our proposal for the next year with the preschool department.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out. Anybody else from the public this evening on any matter? Seeing none, would someone please close this portion of the public meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This public session is closed.
Okay, and with that, we'll be going into closed session, whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presented do exist. Now therefore be it resolved by the North Brunswick Township Board of Education that the public shall be excluded from discussion of and action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows: negotiations and personnel matters. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately. Would someone please move to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We can go into closed session. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Rona, was it back there? Okay. Who did you send it? You sent it to me or to you?
I love this dress.
Can we get a motion to go back into open session, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are back in session.
Mrs. Keefe?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to approve a sidebar agreement between the North Brunswick Township Board of Education and the North Brunswick Township Education Association for the 22-24 contract agreement relative to appendices D, E1, E2, and E3.
Second.
Any further discussion? We'll need a roll call.
Yes. Mr. Ali?
Yes.
Mr. Brockman?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Legori?
Yes.
Dr. Patel?
Yes.
Ms. Toth?
Yes.
And Mr. Wen.
Yes.
The motion has been accepted.
And with that, all we need is a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.